What's up, everybody, and welcome to From the Top Rope. This is episode number 7. We're going to be talking about the week in wrestling, and damn it, was it a long week, y'all. I watched so much shit this week. I was thinking because it was going to be the long weekend, I was going to maybe not have to watch that much wrestling, but damn, there's a lot of wrestling this weekend. So we're going to talk all about it this episode. And before we kick off like we do every episode, let's talk about our sponsors. First off, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for watching this if you're watching this on YouTube or Instagram. And thank you so much if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for supporting me in this crazy adventure of me talking about wrestling with you guys. But let's get in with our sponsors. Bath AF. That's right, we're talking about Bath AF, the best bath bombs in the world. Bath bombs for everybody. Listen, you worked all day and you get home and you're tired as shit, you just want to relax. Let me tell you something. There's not a better way to relax than taking a hot, soaking bath. Baths have been proven to have therapeutic levels of effects over the person's stress level. And adding a bath bomb by Bath AF just changes the game, enhances the experience, and at the end of the day, it makes your skin feel better too. So head over to Instagram at ILoveBathAF and check them out on Instagram. That is one more time at ILoveBathAF. You can go to their Etsy store via their Instagram. We're also sponsored by Twin Hippo Designs. That is Twin Hippo Designs. Cute stationery gifts and thank you cards. Simple designs for lovers of simple things. Listen, if you got a small business and you're trying to find that way to add a personal touch to your orders, or you do a lot of shipping from home, go check out Twin Hippo Designs on Instagram at Twin Hippo Designs. They offer thank you cards and little personalized notes that you can provide with your products as you ship them out all over the world, and really enhance that personal touch to your orders. That is at Twin Hippo Designs on Instagram, and that will take you to their Etsy page. Once again, Bath AF, that is at ILoveBathAF on Instagram, and Twin Hippo Designs, that is at Twin Hippo Designs, also on Instagram. All right, y'all. Sunday night, I was going to try to record this earlier, and it's just busy life. You know, it was a 4-day weekend, and I'm pretty sure, like most of y'all, we all have families in town, and I have my family in town, and I also had I'm an owner of Bath AF, so I sell the bath bombs. So we had a bath bomb show where I was selling bath bombs, and I just had a busy-ass weekend. And somehow I managed to watch a shitload of wrestling content this week. And I'm going to try to run down this. I'm trying to get better with my rhythm and better with my flow as we kind of put out the content. But I'm going to try to go down this week in wrestling. So, first off, let's just go ahead and start at the beginning of the week, right? I won't talk about Survivor Series because if you go back to episode 6, I talked about Survivor Series. So I'm going to go straight into Monday Night Raw. And I gotta be honest with y'all, Monday Night Raw is not a good show. And I know I say this every episode. I just want y'all to know I talk about it and I still watch it because I still appreciate WWE. And I like watching WWE's pay-per-views. But they're weekly content. They're a weekly product, either Raw and SmackDown to a certain degree are just trash. They're not good. And they're not must-see. They're not pulling me in, taking me on a ride. They're just not that good. But I do like to talk about them. I do like to kind of hear about them, but I don't watch them. So I watch the highlights, and then I kind of read up on them and stuff like that. So let's talk about what I thought about Monday Night Raw. So what I'll give WWE credit for is they actually put some stakes on the Survivor Series match a little bit. They could have talked about the stakes beforehand, but they didn't. So this shows me this is kind of like a afterthought, if you will. But Adam Pearce came out and he said, okay, hey, you guys did a good job. What do you guys think? Do you guys think you deserve title shots? Blah, blah, blah. A lot of talking going on. Braun Strowman headbutted Adam Pearce. Whatever. He ended up being kicked out of the building and eventually suspended. Kayfabe suspended. Looks like he has some type of shoulder injury or something like that from Survivor Series that he sustained. The rumor is that they were actually trying to look to put him in as Drew McIntyre's next opponent, which I think would be stupid as shit, but who am I? So, sorry, bro, you got your injury, but this might make him move forward to some other stories. But Adam Pearce, kind of, long story short, he put several of the guys into 3 matches, and the winners of those matches will face each other next week for a number 1 contenders match, and that would be a triple threat match. So just kind of summarize that. Riddle and Sheamus had a match. Riddle defeated Sheamus, which put him into the triple threat next week. Keith Lee and Bobby Lashley had a banger based off of what I saw. Keith Lee defeated Bobby Lashley with some MVP interference. MVP kind of cost the match for Bobby Lashley. Kind of looking forward to seeing how that kind of transpires and what that turns into. And then Styles defeated Randy Orton. The Fiend showed up to kind of a couple times to kind of taunt Randy Orton and kind of distract Randy Orton, which leads AJ Styles to the win. So that'll be next week tomorrow if you're watching this on Sunday. Today, if you're listening to it on Monday, that'll be Riddle, Keith Lee, and AJ Styles in a triple threat match for the number one contender, which I'm assuming would be at TLC. And for some reason, the New Day and the Hurt Business had another match. Don't want to talk about it. New Day retained their titles. It's whatever. We had a new character, the Friendship Frog. The Friendship Frog was killed, though, on the Firefly Funhouse. Friendship Frog is dead. And this kind of just went on to promote the match between Alexis Bliss and Nikki Cross later in the night. I'm fine with that. I like anything Firefly Funhouse. I like the creative nature of it, so it's fine. And this Lana nonsense. So Lana was the sole survivor at Survivor Series for the women's side. And of course, you've already heard me talk about whatever I thought of that. Which, I was going to talk about it later, but I'll talk about it now. I watched Lana's Chronicle on the WWE Network. And what I'll say is that I understand that it's like a thing to how hard you have to do work to get into WWE. I don't think WWE just hires bullshit off the road or bullshit off the street. So I don't doubt that she had to work to get to where she's at. There's definitely some acting going on, though, with that performance on Chronicle. But I did appreciate the look into her life and to kind of get to know Lana's story. And for some reason, they want me to still like her after watching this bullshit on Raw. Her whack-ass performance that she did at Survivor Series, being the last person left or whatever, that was whack. Okay, the Chronicle did a great job of kind of painting a baby face that you want to see with Lana. Whatever the bullshit they're doing on Raw and Survivor Series was trash. But for whatever reason, Asuka says, hey, you can have a match with me tonight since you were the sole survivor or whatever. So they get a match, and they have a match, and that shit doesn't last at all. If I remember correctly, there's like a disqualification. I think Nia and Shayna Baszler came out, and whatever. And for whatever reason, they decided to have a match, a tag team match, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Asuka and Lana. Whatever. I believe they beat them. I don't even know. We'll talk more about the TLC later on in the show, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this Lana stuff because the Chronicle was good, even though, like I said, I feel like there was some definite acting going on. Like I was being worked, if you will. But the shit on Raw is garbage. I can't do this with Lana anymore. Can't do it. And then Alexa Bliss defeated Nikki Cross too. Which I think is cool. I think that's the right move to make. I feel bad for Nikki Cross, but Alexa, she's got this story that she's going on, and I love it. And looking forward to seeing what else is going to be for Alexa Bliss. All right. So enough about Monday Night Raw. We'll talk more WWE later. But I want to move into Impact now. Impact, I watched that this week. I try my best to watch Impact. I've been trying to get into Impact. I kind of dig their product. They're still doing 0 fans in their crowd or in their arenas. But I'm trying to get into it. I'm trying to spice it up with something different, mainly because I'm not getting that out of WWE, so I like to spice it up. So I've been watching Impact. So I don't know most of these people, and so I'm just going to run down kind of what I thought was cool and what happened. They're currently in the championship tournament for the Knockouts Tag Team Championship. That's the women's championship. And I think I heard somebody say they used to be there before. Then they went away for some reason, so they're back. And the only movement for that tournament on this episode was Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. They advanced in the tournament. I have no idea who the hell they are. I'm sorry, guys, if you're watching this or listening to this and you know what the hell I'm talking about or you're yelling at me. But they advanced on. It was a nice match. It was fun. What I really dug about this episode of Impact is the continuing stuff with the Who Shot Johnny Bravo stuff. And they had the boys versus Johnny Swinger in Wrestling Court this week. Sip of wine. Love it. And I thought the whole court stuff was really funny and really cheesy. They had D'Lo Brown as the judge. What's his damn name? I already forgot his name. As the plaintiff, if you will. What's his name? I'll think about it in about 10 minutes and I'll get back with you guys. And yeah, you're probably yelling at me right now. But Wrestler's Court was great. Like I said, I don't know any of the characters or the backstories of some of the stuff that kind of played out, but it definitely looked like Johnny Swinger was not the person who shot Johnny Bravo. Still kind of confused on what kind of happened at the end, but I highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out to go check it out. And then the defeat Rohi challenge. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I'm still learning everything. Learning all the Impact stuff. It's basically his all-call challenge for the X Division champion. A masked wrestler, Suicide, named Suicide, came out. Apparently, that people who watch Impact know what the hell that is. And he came out and he said he wasn't allowed to have a championship match, that he could do a non-title match, though, which I don't know any of these people, so I don't get it, but it's fine. Rohit definitely thought that the masked guy was TJP. And actually, during the match, the mask came off, and it actually ended up being Crazy Steve, who rolled up Rohit for the win. And damn, did I look it up? I have to look it up. Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, going ahead in my notes for next week on Impact. But yeah, Crazy Steve gets the win on Rohit in a non-title match. So most likely there's gonna be some type of fight coming up soon for that. And then this was actually a cool part of the show, and I didn't understand it. I had to go read it online to understand more about it. But Kimberly went against Killer Kelly, and Kimberly defeated Killer Kelly, and then afterwards, what's her name? Dana Perrazzo, the Knockouts champion. She was in the ring with Kimberly, and this character Susie appeared. Now, I don't know where the hell I was. All right, so if you're watching the video, I just had to do a pause break because my son ran in the room, and I needed to help him real quick. And if you're listening to the audio, hopefully it was smooth and a nice little transition. So I think what I was talking about was this character Susie. I had to go look up Susie on the internet and kind of figure out what the hell was going on. But it looks like Susie is a alter ego of Su Yung. Now, I kind of know Su Yung because she was on, I think it was Bound for Glory. She's the one who showed up and beat Perrazzo for her Knockouts champion. And then at Turning Point, Perrazzo won it back from Su Yung. And I think Susie, if I understood it correctly, is like her alter ego. So that means if you go back and you watch it, they did some like really cool camera shots with making both of them be there at the same time. So I didn't know that, but I thought it was really cool. I dug the character of Susie, and I dig the character of Su Yung. And looking forward to seeing what's going on there. I know Impact has like a Impact Plus special coming up. I can't remember the name of it. It's like, I could probably look it up in a minute, but it's not till the following weekend, so I'll talk about it then. So maybe they're doing something there. And then the absolute best part of the show, the Good Brothers were promoting the hell out of it, that a phenomenal opponent was going to show up against Ethan Page. And the phenomenal one, it was all like very much hinting at a return of AJ Styles. AJ Styles was going to leave his multi-million-dollar contract from WWE to return to Impact Wrestling. So of course, Carl Anderson comes out and just hypes it up. And AJ Styles, I'm assuming, because I never watched Impact or TNA, his old TNA music came on, and it was good old Swoggle. That's right, Hornswoggle comes out, dressed up as AJ Styles. They referred to him as the Wee Nominal One. Yes, that happened. And just because of all the shenanigans, AJ Styles, a.k.a. Swoggle, actually defeated Ethan Page. And I thought that the whole thing was pretty funny. If you haven't watched it yet, you should go check it out, like on YouTube or something. Swoggle as AJ Styles this past week on Impact. And then what I didn't realize was going to happen this week, because I haven't really been totally paying attention to it, was the Impact World Championship was on the line this week. Rich Swann was going against Ken Shamrock. Now, I've kind of talked about Ken Shamrock a little bit. I didn't realize he was still wrestling until I started getting Impact about a month ago. And when he right around the time for Bound for Glory, and I didn't even know he was getting a world title shot. And damn, he's old as hell, but he still looks great. I don't know about his work. His work was a little bit to be desired, but this match was nice. Rich Swann won, but that pissed off Ken Shamrock, and Ken Shamrock went after the ref, went after Rich Swann, and Sami Callihan came in too. They were kind of jacking up Rich Swann, and then Eddie Edwards came out to make the save, and Sami Callihan took a bat to Eddie Edwards' head, and that shit was off the chain. I don't think the blood was real. I think the blood was fake, but it looked cool as shit, and I dug the absolute hell out of it. Overall, I really enjoyed Impact this week, and I'm liking getting to know these new people, and I'm digging the show all in all. And with that being said, we're going to move into the absolute best part of the week. I talk about it every time I have this podcast. Wednesday nights. Wednesday nights are the best night for wrestling. And so we're going to split it up. We're going to talk about Dynamite. So let's talk about Dynamite first. That Hangman Page John Silver match was awesome. I love John Silver. I love Hangman. Really cool match. Hangman defeated John Silver. But then at the end, I thought it was really cool because the Dark Order is trying to get him in. They're trying to get Hangman Adam Page into the Dark Order. And what I like is Adam Page didn't say yes or no. If I remember correctly, he just kind of ended, and they kind of let him go. Super excited to see where that goes. But they put on a really good match. John Silver is kind of like the standout right now for what's going on in the Dark Order. The next one, man. All right, so this has got twofold. This next match segment, whatever you want to call it. They introduced Will Hobbs' character as Powerhouse Hobbs. He came out as Powerhouse Hobbs, and he went against Lee Johnson. Now, what I liked about Lee Johnson is I like to pay attention to AEW when they put up their win-loss records underneath their name. I love the shit out of that, and I love that they do that. And you should go back and look. I'm pretty sure shit said 21-0 or something like that. Or 0-21. Sorry, I said it wrong. 0-21. This dude is literally, they're just broadcasting his jobberness, and I love it. And of course, Powerhouse Hobbs defeats 21-0 or 0-21 Lee Johnson. And what I thought was great though was after the match, Taz comes in the ring and says, "Hey, good job, Hobbs. Good job. Go in the back and celebrate. I got some business to take care of out here." And he starts cutting a promo that was such a good promo that people were starting to get confused if it was shoot. I think eventually you could tell we were being worked. But he was talking shit straight to creative, straight to management of AEW. And he was talking specifically to the production executives. And they cut his mic twice. And eventually Cody comes out the back. And I thought that shit was super cool. He still got his headset on. Because obviously he's sitting in the gorilla position. Doing the biz as a production assistant or a production executive and or executive producer, and that intimacy and that close talk. Like whenever Cody decided to throw a little shit Taz's way and talk about why isn't your son training with you? He's training with me. And Taz off mic just to Cody's face was like, "Bro, that's too far. You took it too far. You shouldn't have done that." And then Taz backs up, and then Taz put his ass in that Taz mission. Man, that shit was off the chain. Man, I'm super excited to see what happens this week. Great promo. The promo was great and great fallout. Actually, Taz's son, Hook, actually came out. Was one of the people that came out to kind of break up the fight. Really cool. Really looking forward to seeing what happens there. The Hybrid 2, they defeated Top Flight. Super cool match. I'm actually a fan of the Hybrid 2. I went and saw All Elite Wrestling last year, Fight for the Fallen when it was in Jacksonville. And that's the first time I actually saw the Hybrid 2, and I thought they were super cool. And I still think they're super cool, and it makes sense that they would beat Top Flight. Top Flight's super cool themselves, and they're coming up, and all that stuff is fine and whatever. But definitely going to the Hybrid 2 makes sense. And I know there's going to be some more business going on with the Young Bucks probably after that. I really like the Chris Jericho Jake Hagar match with the SCU. Of course, they beat them. And I love how the Inner Circle just rolls out full Inner Circle. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was out there. And, of course, that played into the match. What's his name? MJF used the diamond ring to jack one of the SCU guys in the head. I can't remember their names. And, of course, that went a long way with that Judas effect. Damn, Chris Jericho and that Judas effect is so badass for the win. That set up a match next week for Chris Jericho against one of the members of SCU's, Frank Kazarian, I think his name. Sorry, I don't really know all their names. I'm still learning all of AEW's names too. But yeah, that should be a great match next week, or this week, sorry. And damn, that Chris Jericho, that Judas effect, when he drops that shit, damn, that shit is fire. And then next was the contract signing, okay? Whew. Man, that contract signing was fire, or I should say lack thereof. Jon Moxley jacking Kenny Omega back behind that paper on the entrance ramp, that little paper he likes to bust through, and kicking his ass out to the ring, talking mad shit to the heel, babyface talking shit to the heel, and of course signing the contract. And don't forget the paradigm shift on the belt. Perfect. Can't be any more excited about that match. We'll talk about that in a little bit later too. And then of course they had the women's match, the AEW Women's Championship match. Akira Shida versus Anna Jay, and that was actually a pretty good match. Of course, Akira Shida beat Anna Jay. Anna Jay couldn't take the belt off of her. Well, but I think it was a good showing on Anna Jay's part. Loved it. And then Abaddon. Okay, I've only seen her a few times, but this chick is scary as fuck. And she came out and scared the shit out of the belt. I can't remember how she got a hold of the belt. And she licks the belt. It's got blood all on her lips and her tongue, and she licks blood all over the belt. That was a little weird, COVID, you know what I'm saying? But that was awesome. And I don't know when they're having that match, but I think that'd be a cool match. I think Abaddon's a cool character, and I don't know if she could take the belt off of Akira Shida, but I think the character is cool, and I think it'd be a fun match to watch. And at the end, the ending was kind of bleh for me personally. Butcher and the Blade, Ray Phoenix and Pac. Good match. I don't even know. Like, it was fine. The Bunny and Eddie Kingston got involved, and of course that led to the Butcher and the Blade defeating Ray Phoenix and Pac. And there's a whole bunch of bullshit at the end, a bunch of fighting and stuff like that. And then Lance Archer comes out. Now, either I missed or I forgot what the hell Lance Archer and Eddie Kingston have with each other. But I definitely thought it was weird and a little bit kind of anticlimactic for the show. But I like Lance Archer and I like Eddie Kingston. It'd be cool to see them lock up. But like I said, I don't remember, or I just don't know the relationship there and why Lance Archer would want to come out there and why that was such a big deal. Shit on me. I don't know if I forgot. I watched a lot of wrestling and I watch other shit and I have kids and I forget things. But yeah, take a sip of my wine before we hit this break. Damn, that's so good. So, I talk fast and I talk a lot. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. I just want to remind y'all, just thank y'all so much again for downloading this podcast on either Apple or Spotify, or if you're watching this on YouTube or Instagram. I really appreciate it. I'm starting to figure this out. Like, I didn't do video for a couple weeks because I was kind of losing my video product. Trying to figure out how to do this the easiest way possible so I can provide as much content. The harder it is, the less content I can do. The easier it is, the more content I can do. And so I'm learning all this stuff, and I appreciate you guys being on this journey with me, if you will. But I want to take a break talking about the week wrestling, and I want to talk about I watched one documentary and one interview this week, kind of summing up or rounding out The Undertaker's 30 Days of Dead Man. I watched the Brothers of Destruction documentary, and I watched the One More Round Stone Cold Sessions with The Undertaker #2. So, first off, I kind of talked about it on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, at I Hate Gerge Brooms, follow me on Instagram. I was talking about on Sunday when it was the Undertaker's retirement, or whatever you want to call it, his final farewell at Survivor Series. I talked about my very first Undertaker match I ever watched, and I was a big WCW mark back in the day, back in the Monday Night Wars. I was on Team Sting, Team Goldberg, Team NWO, Team all that. That's what I was doing back in the 90s. And I would just hear stories from my friends who talked about the WWF at the time, what they were doing. And I remember I was kind of on my way out of wrestling. Not really. I mean, I think this was 98 when the Inferno match was, the Kane versus Undertaker Inferno match. And I really stopped watching wrestling whenever Goldberg lost his belt. Whenever Goldberg's undefeated streak was ended by Kevin Nash. I think that was January 99, so I was still watching it at this time, but I was hearing about what was going on the other show from my friends. And I remember hearing about the Inferno match between Kane and Undertaker, and it blew my mind that there was a match on the other show that involved a fucking ring set on fire, okay? And of course I didn't know what it looked like, and this is back in the days when, this is 1998, there's no fucking internet, there's no nothing. And so I just have to either read it in like a wrestling magazine, see the pictures, and I remember seeing the pictures, and the pictures were wild. And I remember hearing stories about Kane and the Undertaker, and that they were brothers, and then they're half brothers, and Paul Bearer was somehow involved, and there was a burned down church or funeral home. I can't remember what the hell it is. There was all these layers to the story, and I was like, and at the end of the day, that's what I think most of us watch wrestling for. Good matches and stories, right? And they should intertwine each other. And damn, when I was being 1998, 14, the story of Kane and Undertaker really, really drew me in. And it wouldn't be till years later that I could truly look back and in retrospect and watch it in its entirety, the Kane Undertaker story, and really appreciate it. And the Brothers of Destruction documentary was super awesome. Really good and really well made. It's the Undertaker and Kane sitting there just talking and telling these stories together. And I thought that was a really cool way to do it. It's on the WWE Network, obviously. Definitely check it out. The Brothers of Destruction documentary, really good shit. And then I just finished up today the One More Round Stone Cold Sessions with The Undertaker #2. Really cool. I love insider baseball stuff. You know, like one of the reasons like I really like listening to Joe Rogan. I listen to Joe Rogan podcast, and I really like it when he talks to stand-up comedians, because I love hearing two stand-up comedians talk about the lifestyle, the business of stand-up comedy. The same thing goes for wrestling. I am fascinated by the world of wrestling, the behind-the-scenes stuff, the business of wrestling, the wrestlers, and the culture, the lifestyle of a wrestler. I'm fascinated, and obviously they have a lot of war stories. They talk about the road and what it's like to be on the road, and there's like a hierarchy, and I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a hierarchy to who drives, who sits up front, who sits in the back, who pumps gas. It's all, there's an ingrained tradition of all that stuff, and I'm fascinated by it. And hearing them talk about Wrestler's Court, hearing them talk about being on the road, talking about his pre-WWE days, really cool stuff. And Stone Cold did a really good job of like a nice touching moment at the end where he kind of talked about the Undertaker, what the Undertaker meant to him, and all this stuff. Is fantastic. It's a damn banger of a 2-hour episode too. It's a 2-hour Smoking Skull Sessions, and I definitely highly recommend both Brothers of Destructions and One More Round, Stone Cold and the Undertaker #2 on the WWE Network. So, with that being said, I'm going to get back to my wine. 1 second. Oh, that's it. We're all out of wine. It's all good, because we're going to NXT next. And first off, on NXT, Kevin Owens was on commentary because Wade Barrett was out. Be honest with you, I thought he was boring, but that's just me. I can't pronounce his damn name. Blah, y'all know who I'm talking about. I thought that dude was fucking exciting and awesome. And they go from like that to Wade Barrett, which Wade Barrett's great. I enjoy the hell out of him. Kevin Owens, it was kind of boring, so I didn't really appreciate it. But the Candice LeRae Ember Moon match was actually pretty good. Of course, this is all leading into the War Games coming up. And War Games, specifically the women's War Games, with Indy Hartwell, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez coming out to assist Candice LeRae, and whatever the match kind of goes to shit. Candice LeRae wins, and then kind of the gang fights happening at the end. And I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, but I don't remember exactly what happened. What I do know is that Ember Moon was kind of on the run, and Toni Storm came out, and then Toni Storm's ass turned heel, and attacked Ember Moon. And later on in the night, it would be confirmed that she was joining Team LeRae. So at NXT War Games, NXT TakeOver War Games, it will be Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, Candice LeRae, and Toni Storm against Shotzi Blackheart's team. We'll talk more about that later. Really like the Toni Storm turn. It was fantastic. I appreciate a good heel turn when it's a real, legit good heel turn. I still get goosebumps thinking about Dakota Kai's heel turn from last year's War Games. So really good stuff. Really looking forward to the women's War Game. The build isn't as good as the men's. They've really been focusing on the men's, but it's still going to be a really good one. And then move into the next one, which was Kushida versus Timothy Thatcher. And I hate when I feel like I'm being worked, like I know I'm being worked. And this was really just a mechanism to set up Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. But good on Kushida for getting the win. And with the distraction from Tommaso Ciampa actually helps Kushida make Timothy Thatcher tap out. So I find the fact that Timothy Thatcher tapped out anyways. Timothy Thatcher tapped out. Jesus, we got all these T's. But it really put Kushida over really nice. And but I'm going to be honest with you, make Timothy Thatcher look like kind of a bitch. And please don't come get me if you find me, Timothy Thatcher. But I really hope you beat Tommaso Ciampa, because I don't know what else you can do after this. If you can't beat Kushida, you can't beat Tommaso Ciampa. I don't know what else. I don't know why you get to have that damn school anymore, that damn wrestling school. I don't know why WWE allows you to keep doing that if you keep losing these damn matches. But I'm happy it made Kushida look nice, and we'll see whatever happens with this whole Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher stuff. And next was actually I thought it was a funny part of the show, the KO show. Kevin Owens did a special KO show on NXT to kind of highlight Leon Ruff and his kind of journey to winning the North American Championship and defending it successfully against Johnny Gargano. Really funny stuff. Johnny Gargano, of course, came out. I won't go through the whole thing. Then Damian Priest came out. There's a bunch of shit talking. And Kevin Owens was like, well, if Teddy Long was here, he would come out and just make this a triple threat match. We don't have Teddy Long, but I think we have someone who's just as good as Teddy Long. And of course, William Regal comes out with this banger music. Damn, I love William Regal's music so much. And he comes in and, of course, announces the triple threat match for NXT TakeOver War Games. Leon Ruff, Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, the triple threat for the NXT North American Championship. And then, of course, William Regal says, "Playa," and I thought that was awesome. A little shout out to Teddy Long. And then this whole weird Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis shit, I'm over it. I like Cameron Grimes. I used to like Dexter Lumis. I can't do this anymore. I don't care if he's being weird and he's like trying to scare him and he like draws pictures or whatever. This is not what should be happening. Cameron Grimes is too good for this type of bullshit. But whatever. Jake Atlas got beat by Cameron Grimes, and Dexter Lumis came out and was weird. And apparently they've announced a strap match between Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes for NXT TakeOver War Games. Whatever, it's fine. Press. And then, the Rhea, that's right, the Rhea promo. Rhea Ripley came out and cut a promo about how she's not leaving NXT. She was kind of addressing the rumors that she was going to leave NXT. And she said she's not. And that's whenever they came out, the heel War Games team, women's War Games team, came out dragging Io Shirai's lifeless body. and kind of dumped it right there on the ramp. And then, of course, they beat the shit out of Rhea Ripley. And then some more shenanigans happened, and everyone jumped in the car with Johnny Gargano. And there was a second Ghostface in the car. And I believe Indy Hartwell was in the shot too. So we know it's not her. So there's a second Ghostface. And I could probably speculate on who I think it is, but I honestly don't know who it is. I just find it fascinating. They went out of their way to show that there was a second one. Now, if you go back to NXT TakeOver, Halloween Havoc, there were two. There was an obvious difference between the one that came and interfered with the Johnny Gargano match and the one that came and interfered with Candice LeRae. One was definitely built more like a man. The other one was definitely built more like a woman. So there could be a guy. There's a guy there that we don't know yet. And that's a whole nother fascinating picture, talking about who the other Ghostface is. Maybe we'll get some more information about that next week. Or this week, excuse me. And then that Xia Li and Boa stuff, whatever the hell's going on there. I like weird shit like this, when they're doing the weird Chinese kind of hostage-taking stuff. And then there's the woman who's kind of, you can't see who she is, and then she orders the other guy to mark their hands or whatever. I don't know. It's corny. It's silly. I'm in. You guys got me. I'm in the Xia Li and Boa weird nonsense. And then if the main event didn't happen, this would have been the best part of the show. Grizzled young veterans, y'all. If y'all don't watch NXT UK, I understand. But seriously, you should watch it. The Grizzled young veterans are back. And they go and they beat the shit out of, what is this, Everrise? They could beat the shit out of Everrise, and they just cut that banger of a promo. Damn, I am so excited to see them back. I don't know where they're going to go. They definitely should take the NXT tag team belts. But glad to see Grizzled Young Veterans back. And like I said, that would be the best part of the show if it wasn't for the main event. The main event happened. It was Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly for ladder match for the advantage in the men's war game match. Long blah blah blah. You should definitely go watch the match if you haven't watched it. Lots of shitty ladder bumps, especially when Pete Dunne does his like manipulation stuff where he's bending the fingers and the elbows and stuff. He was doing it to O'Reilly through the ladder and shit, like it was out of control. And of course, at the end, a masked man comes in and assists Pete Dunne with the win. The Kings of NXT get the War Games advantage going into War Games. And who was the masked man? Of course, it was probably supposed to be Pat McAfee. That's who I think everybody thinks it is, but we didn't find out on this show. But damn, what a great match. If you haven't watched it, you definitely need to go check it out. So that rounds up NXT, but I really want to briefly mention NXT UK. I'm a big NXT UK fan. I've been watching it since the beginning. I had some moments where I dipped off of it and stopped watching, but I always tune in for their takeovers, their NXT UK specific takeovers. And I really was into it there for a little while, especially when Pete Dunne was the NXT UK champion. I went to take over Blackpool 2 in January, and it was awesome. One of the best crowds I've ever been in was a NXT UK crowd, and or UK crowd in general. And so real quick, I just want to run down the NXT UK card. So in case you don't know, Jordan Devlin is still the NXT Cruiserweight Champion. So whenever this whole pandemic kicked off, they had the interim tournament, right? Because Jordan Devlin was Irish and he's across the sea and there's no way he can come over. So they had an interim championship, and Escobar, of course, has that championship now. But Jordan Devlin is on NXT UK right now, wrestling and defending the Cruiserweight Champion. So right now we have two Cruiserweight Champions in NXT. And Jordan Devlin defended it against Amir Jordan in this match. And of course won. And I got to see Jordan Devlin live at NXT TakeOver Blackpool 2. And damn, who was it against? Oh, I've already forgot. Oh, it's one of the Mustache Mountain guys. Not Trent Seven. You guys will probably yell at me. The other Mustache Mountain guy. And I'm really upset I can't remember his name. And that match was a fucking banger. Jordan Devlin is the shit. And I really can't wait until we get the two Cruiserweight champions together in the same room and they get to beat the shit out of each other because they're absolutely going to do it. But yeah, great match. He retained his title. There's some other stuff that will happen, but the real only thing I want to talk about is the this episode was the finals for the NXT UK Heritage Cup, and it's kind of been like a little way to a tournament that they put in place. What I feel like was to kind of welcome the show back from the hiatus, from the COVID hiatus, and it was the finals. A-Kid versus Trent Seven. If you haven't watched any of the Heritage Cup stuff, it's a round-based match. 6 rounds, 2 minutes apiece. I think it's 2 minutes apiece, 2 or 3 minutes apiece, and best 2 out of 3 out of falls. So, or whoever has the most at the end. So if you get a fall, it ends the round, and if you get a fall in the first round, ends the round. If you get a fall in the second round, ends the match. You win. Basically, this match was they were beating the shit out of each other, and they go all 6 rounds, and Trent Seven got a pinfall right at the end of the 6th round, giving him the point, and A-Kid already had a pinfall in there, so they're tied 1-1, and that's when the NXT UK general manager came out and said, no time limit, next fall wins, and A-Kid took Trent Seven down. I believe it was a super kick too, a couple super kicks, and they were sweet super kicks. I love when I see a sweet super kick. And yeah, worked out perfect for A-Kid. Is your new NXT Heritage Cup winner. I don't know what that gets him, but it was definitely fun to watch the tournament. But yeah, definitely check out. It's only an hour long, but definitely check out NXT UK on the WWE Network whenever you get a chance. All right, we take a sip of water. We're gonna talk about Friday Night SmackDown. We're gonna talk about it quick. I didn't watch the show. I just caught the highlights, and just kind of want to talk about some stuff that I thought was interesting. So Jey Uso coming out and trying to hype up Roman, and Roman coming out and not having none of that shit. Roman is in his best form. I know everyone's saying it, but Roman is in his best form right now. Damn, is he killing it. And he's like, what am I, a bitch type of stuff or whatever? He's like, I ain't the locker room bitch or some shit like that. Perfect stuff coming out of Roman Reigns. Loved every second of it. And Roman basically called him a failure and a little bitch. And Roman takes off, and then as Jey is leaving, for some reason, whoever the asshole was, cued Otis at that time. Really pissed Jey off because Jey went to town and beat the shit out of Otis as he was coming down for his match. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, they got a tag team championship apparently, or not a tag team. It was a non-title match, I'm assuming. But they won. They challenged the Street Profits, and there was a roll up, and Rude rolled up forward and for the win. Boom. Who knows? Rumor was with this episode of SmackDown that nobody had any idea of what was going to happen, and it was literally at the last minute that they all found out. Apparently, Vince McMahon didn't show up until like 12:30 that day, and he said, "Here, this is what we're doing today," and everyone had to kind of figure it out. So, wasn't really impressed with this Friday night SmackDown, to be honest. And then Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn put on a fucking banger of a match. I won't go through it all in all, but that damn brain buster Sami Zayn did on Daniel Bryan, where basically was on the apron and it looked like it just cracked his neck. Like it was the perfect shot. Y'all leave Daniel Bryan's neck alone, man. What the hell is going on? Really good match. And then there's this weird thing where Sami ran off and Daniel Bryan went to chase him, and then the count out was almost that happens like at 7, and then Sami Zayn came running back, got in the ring, and won by count out. And we're like, where the hell did Daniel Bryan go? And it cuts to the back, and Jey Uso's beating Daniel Bryan's ass. Really cool stuff. I really enjoyed that part of it. And I'm definitely skipping over stuff on SmackDown because I don't want to talk about the boring shit. I only want to talk about some decent stuff. Bianca Belair defeating Natalya. Cool. Bayley was on commentary, and I think I saw Bianca Belair hit Bayley or something like that. Or I know there's some distraction stuff, but Bianca Belair versus Bayley would be awesome. I've seen Bianca Belair live too. She's a true, pure athlete, and I think she needs to be at the top of that SmackDown Women's division, hands down. I think Kevin Owens beating Jey Uso via DQ. Jey Uso got himself disqualified. But the real point, the real thing everyone was talking about is Kevin Owens calling out Roman Reigns at this match and beating the shit out of Jey Uso with that chair and looking into the camera while Roman was in the back watching. You can find the clip on YouTube. It's awesome. And just basically just talking mad shit to Roman Reigns and calling him out and saying, I want to fight you, blah, 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 blah. He sounded way cooler than my dork ass sounded. But yeah, it was an absolute great way to end the show, which is a pretty boring show, but a great way to end the show. Really looking forward to a potential match between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Oh, man. We made it, guys. We got through. I hate that. I got to rearrange it or some shit because I hate ending it on WWE and starting it on WWE because WWE puts out the worst television product out of all the shows. And most of the time, SmackDown's pretty good a lot of times. Raw is absolute dumpster fire every week. But yeah. So real quick, we get some water in my system. I don't have anybody else in my show, so I don't have anybody else to throw it to while I get a sip of water. So it's just me, guys. You, me, and this microphone, right? So some news stories I found were fascinating this week. Vince McMahon has approved 4 matches. I think this is Wrestling Incorrect, Wrestling Observer who talked about it. Sorry, next time I'll have my sources on the match, on the news items. Apologize for that. Yeah, for TLC, he's approved 4 matches. This is all rumor-based, but it seems pretty legit. Based off of the information we just learned this week. Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title. I think we were just talking about that, so I think that's a logical explanation or a logical connection. This one I think is weird as shit, and I don't know what the hell they're about to do with it, but Shayna Baszler versus Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax versus Asuka and Lana for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Oh my God, y'all. Y'all know what's about to happen. They're about to give Lana a championship, and she's not going to do anything. You hear me? She's not going to do anything. She's going to sit there, and Asuka's going to do all the work, and she's going to win this belt. And I'm going to be angry for it. But maybe that's the point. Maybe I'm supposed to be angry. And then, oh shit, where'd I go? I just lost it. Jey Uso versus Daniel Bryan, which makes sense after the fight they had on SmackDown. And, of course, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, or The Fiend. I don't know which one. But those make sense based off of the kind of happenings this week in wrestling. One of the other cool news items I learned or I read was the Hulk Hogan biopic. Netflix has picked up Hulk Hogan's life story, and they're filming it with Chris Hemsworth of Thor fame being playing the role of Hulk Hogan. And Eric Bischoff commented today that it is still in developmental. I think people were thinking it was currently shooting or it was in pre-production or something like that. He kind of wanted to let everybody know it's still in developmental or in development mode. Hasn't started pre-production yet. So just kind of some bummer news if you're hoping to see that next year. But I'm really looking forward to the Hulk Hogan biopic. They got me in it. Thank you, Netflix. The big thing over at NXT UK, we were just talking about him earlier, is that Walter hit his 600 days as the UK champ. Big deal. I mean, I know a lot of that has to do with the pandemic and the fact that he hasn't been able to defend it. But shit, who cares? He's the best on that brand, anyways. I got to see him defend it at NXT TakeOver Blackpool against Joe Coffey, and that match wasn't too bad. But damn, to be in the room and be in the presence of a Walter chop is unlike anything else. I promise you that. So congrats to Walter for hitting 60 days on NXT UK with his NXT UK championship. And just today, NXT announced that Ember Moon is officially a member of Shotzi Blackheart's War Games team. So that leaves 2 more members to be left, or to be named, excuse me. And I think we can make actual kind of connections and say it's probably going to be Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler. Oh my God. Damn, you ever have someone's name, they just black out? Rhea Ripley. Oh Lord. Please don't come kill me, Rhea Ripley. Please don't kill me. But that's going to be a great match if it's the 4 of them versus the 4 of the heels. And that's really it for the news. Just kind of preview a few things happened this week. I'm recording this on Sunday night, releasing it Sunday night, so you probably listen to it Sunday night or Monday morning. But a couple things happened this week. On Monday Night Raw, we do have the Triple Threat number 1 contender match. That was Keith Lee, Riddle, and AJ Styles. Let's see who's the number 1 contender for Drew McIntyre's, or McInfart. Sorry, I haven't addressed McInfart this week, but yes. Keith Lee, Riddle, AJ Styles, number 1 contender. Who goes against Drew McInfart, I'm assuming at TLC. On Impact, they're going to have Johnny Swinger versus Cody Deaner. That should be a nice little match. NXT is going to have Shotzi versus, I can't remember who, but one of the other members of the other War Games team to see who gets the advantage going into War Games. That should be awesome. AEW is having their special Winter is Coming, and I am going to not preview anything here because I'm actually going to release another episode of From the Top Rope later on this week previewing Winter is Coming. Sorry, I just had to do a quick edit because my kids come in while I'm recording. It's great having kids. They're great kids. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was talking about AEW Winter is Coming. I will be doing a Winter is Coming special episode of From the Top Rope later on this week because I will be attending live. I got tickets to the Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, where they have their physical distancing 10% capacity, and I did get a pod of 2 people, so I'm taking my dad. My dad and I are going, and I'll be documenting that on my Instagram too, at I Hate Gerge Brooms. Follow me on Instagram, at I Hate Gerge Brooms. So I'll talk about Winter's Coming later this week. And on NXT UK, they're going to have Alexander Wolf versus Joe Coffey. Also on NXT UK, The Hunt versus Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster. And I couldn't find anything for SmackDown, which makes sense. It's only Monday, and they didn't know what the hell they were doing until 12:30 this last Friday. So I don't think I'm going to have anything for SmackDown. But there's probably going to be some legit fallout from Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. So, in closing, I would like to start a little thing where I rank the shows, which show I thought was the best and which show I thought was the worst. So, the show I thought was the worst this week was Raw. Raw was not that good. Very haphazardly thrown together. It's fine. WWE usually is going to be at the bottom of this list unless they get their shit together. SmackDown was the next one down. Just both of them were, like I said, you can tell it was thrown together. That Daniel Bryan match with Sami Zayn was great, but sorry guys, you're going to put out a better product. You're going to be a multi-billion-dollar company. You got to put out a better product. And then NXT UK. I thought NXT UK was a lot of fun with the UK Heritage Cup. I enjoyed it. Obviously, it's part of the shows I don't care about, and it's NXT lower level boring stuff. But the Heritage Cup stuff was really nice. And Impact, I really like the Who Done It with the Giant Swinger and the Wrestlers Court and all that stuff. And like I said, I really like the Susie and Sue Young angle. That was really cool. And then next for second to last or second to first, whatever, second place, if you will. Dynamite. Really enjoyed Dynamite and really liked the contract signing and liked the whole Taz promo and what happened there. And of course that makes NXT number one. That Pete Dunne, Kyle O'Reilly ladder match was brutal, vicious, whatever you want to say. It was fantastic. And sorry, if you take those bumps, you're going to get my number one pick. And I like the angle with women on the developments, if you will, with the women's War Games teams. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for From the Top Rope. My name is, well, there goes my mic. My name is Gerge Brooms, and you can find me on Instagram at I Hate Gerge Brooms. And if you've made it this far and you're still listening to the podcast, I actually started up an Instagram for this podcast. It is at From the Top Rope Podcast on Instagram. As one more time, at From the Top Rope Podcast on Instagram. Just one more time, I want to remind you our sponsors, Bath AF, the best bath bombs in the business. Bath bombs are for everyone. Baths are for everyone. Please visit them on Instagram at I Love Bath AF. And also Twin Hippo Designs, cute stationery items for your small business. Simple designs for lovers of simple things. Really add that personal touch to your small business. You can find them on Instagram at Twin Hippo Designs. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it this week. I will see you a couple times this week where I'm going to do a preview of Winter is Coming. I'm probably going to do a post-Winter is Coming show, especially because I'm going to the show. I'm going to do a preview of NXT TakeOver War Games, which is coming up this weekend. And I'm also going to do another episode of From the Top Rope. So a lot of content coming your way this week. I hope you love it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There went my mic. It's time to go to bed. Thank you all very much. Ciao.